Hey everybody, it is Jennifer from Tarle Speech. Welcome on this beautiful Monday. I hope you are all doing well. All right, so let me just say hello in the chat, see who is here. Oh my goodness, I cannot type. There we go. All right. So it is good to see you all. Last week was kind of a crazy Monday for me, and I actually rewatched the class and was embarrassed that it was so horrible. So I took that class down, and we are redoing this class today. So it's a better day today. I know this is going to be great. We've been talking the last few weeks about stress exceptions and syllable stress in words. And we're going to continue with that today. And I think this topic is really important because this is what's missing for a lot of my students. And hopefully these little tips and tricks will help you all out. All right. I am playing with my light here, everybody. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right. So let me know where you are all here from. Some El Salvador. All right. Welcome, welcome. All right. The way this works is I'm going to present a lesson. It's relatively short. Good morning from Colombia. To you in Colombia, I should say. So I'm going to present a quick lesson. And then at the, then we're going to do some practice. And then at the end of class, I just take questions and answers. So if you have questions that are not related to the topic, that's fine. Just please hold those for the end. After this episode processes, I do post this as well as a podcast. So you feel free if you would like to download that as well if you want to practice when you are in the car or on your morning walk, you can do that. And let me think what else. If you need help, I do have books and things. If you are interested, they are on all of the sounds in English, vowels and consonants. And those are most places where you get your digital materials. I have them on Teachers Pay Teachers. That is not just for teachers, but there are some freebies there. So if you want to go there, I have them on Google Play, Google Books, iTunes, Kobo, and on Spring, which is the YouTube merchandise company. And I have them posted there, and the links are below the video if you're watching this on YouTube. So today, we are talking about the stress exception with ick. All right, so that's our stress exception for today. And we are going to start with that in just a minute. So I see some people here from Iraq, Punjab, and I do not, someone asked the question, do I have lessons on Udemy or Italki? I do have some on Udemy, and they're very inexpensive. So you can check those out there as well. Big picture, I am sort of working on some materials for these word stress exceptions and a class on these that I would like to post on Udemy. Or if you all have a recommendation for a place where you would like to see me post a course, I would love to know that. And if you don't want to spend the extra money, you can just watch my thousands of free videos and lessons here on YouTube. I do post a new lesson every Tuesday and Friday. Tuesdays are homophones. Those are words that are pronounced the same but spelled differently. And on Friday, I have question of the week. Currently, I've been running a mini series on heteronyms, which are words that are spelled the same but pronounced differently. So I have that. I post some shorts. I've taken a slight break from that because I just couldn't keep up. So I just needed to step away from that for a little bit. And then I do my lives or my taped sort of longer courses on Mondays. Again, I love to hear all of your suggestions. If you're looking for classes somewhere, I love to help and I would love to do that for you. All right. Let's get into the lesson. So I want to also welcome those of you who are listening to this as a podcast. And if you are and you want to see these words written down, you can jump on over to @Tarle Speech at YouTube to see the slides that I will present. There aren't many of them, but that does help a lot of people. So stress in English is different than stress in many other languages. And stress in English is stress timed, meaning that one syllable in a word is going to be louder, longer, and higher in pitch than the others. The other syllables in turn must be shorter, softer, and lower in pitch. My students really do try to make the syllables different, but oftentimes people will just use one of those three things instead of all three things. People typically miss the vowel length as making that different from the other vowel lengths. And that gives English sort of that rhythm, the beat that it has. A lot of languages tend to have a similar rhythm. And in English, we have longer and shorter, middle and long, short and long. And so our syllable lengths are kind of all over the place. There are rules to this. However, typically when we say a root word, that's sort of the main part of the word, then we add prefixes and suffixes to change the word. When we have a root word, typically, if we add a prefix or a suffix, the word stress stays the same. Nothing changes. We have some of these suffixes that we add to words where the word stress does change. And that's what we're talking about today. You can go back. I have all of these listed as a podcast in YouTube, and you can watch all of these recorded live streams that talk about these stress exceptions. I've done this for the past several weeks. Okay, so I apologize for my allergies. It is a terrible allergy season here, and someone's outside cutting the lawn next door. So we're just going to have to deal with this. So sorry, everybody. All right. So our stress exception for today is ick. All right. So I'm going to use my example that I use every week because I think sometimes hearing it again and again really is helpful. If we have the word happy, hap is my stressed syllable. If I add a prefix, something before the word, I'm still going to stress the hap. Unhappy. If I add a suffix, the ly, I'm going to say happily. I'm still stressing the hap. If I add both, still going to stress the hap. Unhappily. Most people get this correct, and it's really not an issue because nothing changes. The tricky bit is when something changes, and this ick changes words. So if we have the, root word economy, and then we add the ick, it's going to be economic. If I have the root word problem, we are going to add the ick, it'll be problematic. So you can see I'm shifting that stress in the word. All right, so let me share this with you. Okay, there we are. So this is my suffix for today, the ick, and we're going to pronounce it ick, that short I and the K. This is going to be unstressed, this syllable. And so I get a lot of questions about this short I, the short E, and the short U or the schwa. I'm like, well, which one really is it? I hear this, I hear this. Don't get too hung up on that. Think more about the rhythm and think more about making sure that it is unstressed, meaning that that syllable is shorter and quicker and lower and softer. If you think about that, if you say the I, the or the they are all so similar that in an unstressed syllable, it kind of doesn't matter. You just want that short and quick syllable. And we are going to stress the syllable right before the ick. If this is particularly troublesome for you, next week I'm going to have a class on the ICAL suffix, the ickle, and we will practice more of these words as well. I do find that in teaching these suffix exceptions, technically we're following this ick when we have the ickle, but it's really confusing for people when you kind of mix things up. So I'm just kind of breaking them apart, and we will practice those other words next week. Excuse me. All right. Here are our words for today. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to take the words away, and all I want you to do is listen, okay? Just listen to the words and listen for that rhythm, okay? So here's the rhythm. So my little humming trick is a little hack for you all if you're struggling with this. If you can't say the words with the actual syllables, try to hum it first. Typically, if people can get that rhythm down, then adding the sounds on top of that becomes much easier. So think about it in two chunks, rhythm, and then when you put the sounds on top of everything, okay? So get ready to listen. Here are the words. I'm going to move this over closer to me. Hold on one second so I'm not looking too much off screen, because then that gets weird. Okay. So I have romantic, artistic, neurotic, authentic, anesthetic, fantastic, economic, sympathetic, demographic, problematic. Okay, so romantic, fantastic, artistic, economic, neurotic, sympathetic, authentic, demographic, anesthetic, problematic. Okay, all right. So now what I'm going to do is a little bit new this week. I'm going to say one word, and all I want you to do is to repeat that word. Just do your best. Don't get too wrapped up in, was that right? Just think about that rhythm and repeating what you hear. Okay, we'll do one at a time. Romantic, romantic. Artistic, artistic. Neurotic, neurotic. Authentic, authentic. Anesthetic, anesthetic. Fantastic, fantastic. Economic, economic. Sympathetic, sympathetic. Demographic, demographic. Problematic, problematic. All right. Now I am going to show you the words, and then you are going to try to say all 5 words after listening to me. If you were listening to this as a podcast, just try to remember as many words as possible and repeat. And again, if you do need to have a little bit more of that visual, hop on over to YouTube at Tarle Speech, and you can see this. All right. And we're at about 15 minutes in, if that helps anyone. And that's just a general. Okay. Let's do row number 1. All right. So we have, whoops, sorry, everybody. Romantic, artistic, neurotic, authentic, and aesthetic. Romantic, artistic, neurotic, authentic, and aesthetic. Fantastic, economic, sympathetic, demographic, problematic. Fantastic, economic, sympathetic, demographic, problematic. I do just want to point out one thing. Economic and economic, I hear both of those. I actually use both of those. I don't know why I switch back and forth, but that is an option for both of those. Okay. How did you do, everyone? I hope you all did well with that. Again, next week, we're going to continue with this pattern with some of those words with ICAL at the end. And that would be like practical, vertical, radical, hysterical, botanical, economical, analytical, theoretical, philosophical, and periodical. So if you're interested in that, mark your schedules for next week for that. Okay, everybody? All right. One other little tip before we get into questions. If this is a difficult pattern for you, one of the best ways to practice is to write down a list of words, maybe words that you use at work or maybe a lot in your personal life. Practice those words. You will use those words a lot during the day at work, and then this pattern will become more of a habit, and then you won't have to think about it as much. So, right now, some of you might be saying, I don't even know where to start. Now you know what the problem is. You just need to practice a little bit so that your mouth can catch up to what your brain wants it to do. And then, as you keep practicing with your mouth and then listening to what you're saying is going to form a new habit of speaking. And then when you come upon one of these words, it will be easier and easier and easier to say as time goes on. All right. All right. Any questions about what we just talked about before we move on? Anybody? And then we're going to go ahead and get into some questions that are just general questions. Okay, I don't see anything coming in here. All right. All right. Here we go. All right. So we have greetings from El Salvador. Hello, Hector. So glad you're here. Just me. I'm glad you're here. And greetings from Colombia. Hello, hello. Just me. Tell me more. What do you mean? Can I do a linguistics course in the future? What in particular are you looking to learn? I'm happy to think about that. Hello in Iraq and Punjab. I answered this. Yes, I do have some classes on Udemy. I didn't know you can have classes on italki. Maybe that's just like a one-on-one coaching. I do offer one-to-one courses. I sell them in packages of 5. I have different courses, one on vowels and consonants, one just on word stress, one on intonation. I have a quick start class if you don't have much time where I can just teach you the high points in 5 weeks of all three of those things. I do find that the 5 week time frame is really great. It's usually once a week, sometimes every other week, depending on the person's schedule. Classes are bespoke. What that means is they are made just for you. So while it is a vowel and consonant class, I'm only teaching you what you need to know. If you master all of those things and we need to move on, we move in either to the word stress or the intonation course. So it's kind of seamless on your end. All right. So Just Me is asking if you get a chance to manage or be a part in a new educational platform, would you be interested? Kind of depends. I'm really busy right now just with YouTube, and I've also relaunched my Tarle Speech Kids YouTube page, and I'm posting ideas for families on there on for books and language games. And I'm also posting some reviews of things you might use if you work from home, because I do work with a lot of adults who work from home. And I think having a good setup for a video conference is huge. I think people really don't think enough about what they look like on camera, and it makes a huge difference. So I've started reviewing some things. I'm going to show you all this. This is amazing. This is for a tablet, and I'll show you how this works. And this is on there. And look at that. You can put it on there, and then it spins back and forth. So I absolutely love that. So I just have some little tips and tricks for you. And also, if you're making your own content, I post some of that. So kind of busy right now. It's also summer. And for those of you who have been here, I was on camp drop off this morning. So I couldn't be here for the typical 8 o'clock summertime class. So sorry about that, but it was fun taking the kids to camp today at the zoo, which I'm kind of jealous, to be honest. Yes. So prefixes and suffixes are, I don't even know how you say this word. Affixes, I think, is how you say that. Hello, Helmer. It's good to see you here. You are welcome. Thank you for the champagne. In my opinion, never too early for a little toast with champagne. Okay. Joe AI, hi teacher. What would be the best route or route to learn English? I've got a lesson on that one. Theme, and theme. I always say the best route to learning is kind of what works for you. Different things work for different people. It does really come down, though, to just you do definitely need to practice. That's sort of the key there. Okay. I'm not quite sure what I said, but you thought it was funny. That's a little LOL. Okay. Helmar, I like your thumbnail with the lions there. That's pretty cool. I'd love to go on a safari someday. Ahmed, thank you. And thank you for all your kind comments on my channel. Hello, Giancarlos. I am doing well. It's good to see you here as well. I just want to say to everybody, you are all so sweet and so kind. Yes, I get the occasional like rude comment on my channel, but for the most part, you all are so amazing and you make me smile, and I do love your comments. And hey, if one of you was on here, I got the funniest comment the other day. Someone said, I bet that lady was really beautiful when she was young. And I was like, hey, what about now? I just thought it was funny. I think sometimes people don't realize it's actually me reading all of the comments. So anyway, I just thought that was hilarious. Okay, Hector, you and everybody else have issues with thought and thou. I actually have a video for you. Let me see if I can quickly pull this up here. Let's see. I didn't quickly pull it up, but I am going to put in the chat super quickly here. This is my child channel that I just put in the chat. It came up when I pulled things up. I'm going to switch into my other channel here. And let's see. I have a few videos that I'm going to recommend for that question. So I have an old class. I'm actually thinking about redoing it. And the class is on how to pronounce the letters OUGH and AUGH. And I'm just putting that in the chat right now. And then I have several lessons on this OUGHT. Let's see here. I'll just put one in here. This is like my favorite. This lesson that I'm going to post now for you all is on tough, through, thorough, though, and thought. And let me just be truthfully honest here. This is hard even for English speakers when it comes to reading. I always have to like stop and think because it's so crazy with the spelling. So check out those two videos, Hector. I think those will help. Okay. And Hector says that he is from Colombia and he's living here in the US. And I'm learning a good English pronunciation by watching your videos. Thank you. And I love that. Okay. And keep working. I won't say anything. So I kind of love these classes. You can put your ear pods in and just listen to them. All right. Thank you with the allergies. You guys, it's crazy. I'm actually taking allergy medication and it's still kind of insane this year. We haven't had a ton of rain. And people have been telling me that that's an issue because then the pollen isn't washed away. I don't know, but it's just been a particularly bad allergy year. Why is making a British accent so hard? Norbert, I actually think learning new pronunciation is just difficult for anyone for learning any pronunciation of any language, mainly because we are typically not taught sound patterns and rhythms when we are learning any language. We're taught by reading, by lecture instead of listening and speaking. And so I think that's why kind of all accents are just a little bit hard to learn. Okay, please make a pronunciation video for more words. Well, more to come. I'm actually editing some videos today. I have a lot of new videos and I'm super excited. In July, I have a mini series. Let me see. I have my word list right here of embarrassing mistakes. Let me give you a little preview. I have comma and coma, fickle and fecal. For those of you who don't know, fecal is poop. Booger and burger, hassle and asshole, and prosecute and prostitute. These are words that students of mine have struggled with. And so I made a lesson because I don't want you to have to avoid any word. I want you to just be able to say whatever you want confidently. Okay. Oh my goodness. I don't know how to say your first name. João Batista Ponte Jr., I think. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your word. I don't know with the tilde on the A, how to say that. How do I pronounce the word mountain? You have a couple of options. You can say mountain, just like I did, mountain, mountain, mountain. Think of it as Mao and tin, mountain. I do hear some people say mountain, but with a glottal stop. A glottal stop means that you're stopping the air kind of like in the back of your throat. And you would say like mountain, mountain. I do hear a lot of people say that. I think that's why I get so many questions about the word mountain. But yeah, you could say mountain or mountain. And if you don't know how to do the glottal stop, just say Mow, and then a quick in, mountain. And that should be close enough. All right. Phils, what's up? A is sometimes pronounced like a, and is that correct? I'm actually thinking about doing, before I answer this question, I'm actually thinking about doing a few classes on spelling. But the difficulty is I can teach the sort of basics, which kind of everyone kind of knows or has figured out. What gets more difficult is when words become more complex, which is why I think learning these word stress exceptions is really, really helpful. I'm following a great woman on Instagram who teaches reading to people who struggle with reading. And she talks about word derivations and where the words come from. And that helps us to understand which sounds which letters make. The problem with English is that even though we are a phonetic reading system, the rules do change based on the word derivations. There are rules there are patterns. It's just, it gets to be a little more complex in teaching it as you get into more complex texts. That being said, if you think about the A sound, we say it is a long A. A long vowel is any letter that says its name. A. Okay. So that would be in the word name, name, name. Then you can have the word cat, which has that open a. Okay. So we have name, which is the long A, and cat, which is the short A. Phils, I'm wondering if you perhaps speak Mandarin or Cantonese, because oftentimes my Mandarin and Cantonese speakers will confuse the sound that we hear in met. That's the short E. People will confuse that with the long A in the word mate. So I would say that the A makes the a or the a sound. And as you probably all know, since you're here and you listen to my videos, sometimes it will also say because any vowel in English can say if it's in an unstressed syllable. And I'm gonna have some classes on schwa as well. So we'll get into that at those times. So Phils, I hope that helped. But that is like such a big question. Oh, I'm glad I pronounced your name correctly. I always feel badly if I get someone's name incorrect. All right. I think I got through all of the questions. All right. I'm going to give you all maybe another minute or two to post your questions in the chat. If you are looking for help, I do have my products posted everywhere. Lots of free classes on YouTube. And I have my new kids channel that I put in the chat as well. I am doing product reviews on Amazon. That's kind of morphed into this whole thing. I was typically doing just reviews for books and games and things for when you are working from home. But people have started reaching out, and I've just started doing reviews on things that I kind of think are fun and fabulous. So you can check those out on Amazon as well. Just search for Jennifer Tarle on Amazon. I do get a little bit of a commission for that. Here is my link tree that has everything listed. I think that's about it. All right. I don't see any more questions. So you all are just absolutely amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here and for all of your support and for all of your just kind comments. I really do appreciate you. You're all so amazing. Sorry for my craziness last week. I was just off of my game, back at it today. So if you're not having a great day, tomorrow will be better. And again, thank you so much. I just have to put this comment up. I love it. I do love Eminem. I love some rap music. And Norbert, I love that Eminem taught you English. And hello from the Middle East. You speak Arabic and you learned English while watching my YouTube channel. Well, thank you. And you called me princess. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so goodbye and lots of love here from the US to all of you. So have a great day. And I will see you all again soon. Take care, everybody.